Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast, where we sit down, watch a movie, and give our own goofy little takes. My name is Devin, and the question of the day is, can money buy happiness? For me, no, because I don't think materials can buy happiness. But with that being said, I would still love to wipe my tears with $100 bills.
Yeah.
My name's Jacob.
There you go.
Can it buy happiness? Happiness itself, I say no, but I think it can definitely make your life a lot easier and therefore bring happiness to you easier or quicker. I don't know.
My name's Riley, and I think that money can buy peace of mind. And peace of mind definitely leads to happiness. So, yes, money can buy happiness. 100%, all of the time.
100% all the time. I'm Emma, and I feel like you can't buy a feeling, but you can buy things that make you happy, for sure. Like, I would love to have $1 million, but then, I mean, there's also stress that comes with a lot of money, too.
If I could buy a car and drive as fast as I wanted, I feel like I'd be happy. Because I could just pay off tickets.
Well, you could also pay off the cops and you go even faster.
This is also
I'm just
true.
saying.
This is also true. I would buy a strip of just the highway, and I'd go as fast as I wanted.
You know what I've always
This
wanted?
doesn't sound like happiness. This sounds like corruption.
I've always wanted to have an old abandoned airport, right? That long giant airstrip you just floor down. Yeah, that's what.
So speaking of money and hoarding wealth, that's kind of the story of our main character in today's movie. Disney's A Christmas Carol. It follows the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, as he learns, I guess, a little humility throughout this movie. Ebenezer Scrooge.
I think that's gonna be my kid's name.
Okay, so
I'm gonna curse my son with this name, Ebenezer.
I was gonna say it's kind of like their last name kind of set him up to be like, because Scrooge, when you say someone's a Scrooge, it's like, okay, this parent set him up.
He was the original Scrooge. The reason people are like, why are you such a Scrooge at this time of the year, right?
So
yeah,
this,
Riley.
well,
true.
You know, Christmas and all that.
So this was from 2009. It was a Christmas classic. It's like a kind of a fantasy like Christmas. I guess it's like a fantasy family Christmas movie.
Yep. Something like that.
Prominent actors in the movie are Jim Carrey and Gary Oldman, which I had no idea Gary Oldman was in this movie. I think he voices, if I'm wrong, I think he voices Bob Cratchit, I think is who he voices.
You can't even tell that it's Jim Carrey's voice, though.
Right.
I didn't know that it was Jim Carrey until this time that I watched it.
He's a very good voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
He is. And I was thinking, he does a lot of Christmas movies where he doesn't like Christmas, you know, in the movies.
Makes me wonder if he actually doesn't like Christmas.
If he hates Christmas.
Well, all of them always have a turn of heart, you know, so.
There's a lot of big name actors in here, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like Colin Firth. You guys ever watch
Kingsman.
He's like the mentor guy for like the younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the I believe he was the nephew. The nephew that comes in all merry and he's like,
right.
Yeah. He looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
I thought
characters
so,
in the show
Yeah,
look
they
like
do.
the people that
Okay.
voice act them, which I think is really cool.
I do too.
Who's Gary Oldman again? Is he
Is it Bob Cratchit in the movie? Maybe.
Yeah, he's Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's he again?
Like, what is he in? What other
Oh,
shows
Gary
is he
Oldman.
Oh,
He's in Batman.
Yeah, he's
Detective
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon in Batman.
He's in a lot.
He is
Which Batman? There's like 80 of them.
The trilogy
The Dark Knight.
with
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Have you not watched those?
Who's the Joker in that
Oh.
one?
That's the joke everybody likes.
I think
Okay,
Gary
gotcha.
Oldman also
Heath Ledger.
plays. Oh my goodness, I should know his name. He was the Prime Minister of Great Britain during World War II.
What?
There's a movie about him.
Winston
Churchill. He
Yeah.
played Winston Churchill in the movie Churchill.
Also in the book of Eli, he was like the bad mayor guy, whatever it took over that town.
Yeah.
So he likes to play mayors.
I I guess like the first thing I'd say about this movie is the animation is like actually really solid for 2009. Like there's, I mean, there's some scenes like there's a part where it shows a dog, and like the dog looks a little weird.
I couldn't, like, honestly, if you showed me just like a still image, I couldn't tell you it was a dog.
Right.
It looked so like raggedy.
Mm-hmm.
It was very scary.
What kind of animation is that? Because like Disney used that for a bit, where like they have the cameras on your face and whatnot, and because I believe they did that for Polar Express when that came out.
Oh, the face capture.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that's what they did for this movie.
Polar Express,
yeah,
it didn't work that well.
I mean, it makes
IMO,
sense. Because, like, so the reason that they look so similar to their animation style, or like to their animation characters, is because that's what they did. They did the face thing, so they had to look somewhat similar, so they could get the full face.
But and I wonder, which they probably did like some of the motions of the characters and like they in the movie, which. It helps like add it adds a very like fluid like motion to this movie, and it I guess like it is different from old Disney animation, because old Disney stuff was like hand drawn and like over and over again and animated and stuff like that, and this is more like your typical like CGI like motion capture stuff, which usually I'm not a huge fan of CGI because most of the time it looks bad and it's not in front of the camera. But in this movie it holds up pretty well.
There were a couple of times I could tell like their mouth didn't move as much as it would in real life because they just didn't catch it right.
And also you caught Riley. It's the year.
Yeah,
you caught the year. It's 1842.
Yeah, one of the ghosts is like, my 1842 brothers before me. So
It's
like,
and he's the ghost of Christmas Present.
And he dies every year.
If he's 1842, that's how old he is.
That makes sense.
Then the year is 1842.
Well,
at least we think
he's the 1842 son.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't die. He just
he definitely dies. He 100% is dead. At the end of the night, when the bell tolls, he's dead.
But we get ahead of ourselves.
We're so far ahead.
But so the very beginning, it opens up with like his business partner Bob is
Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley dies.
Not Bob Marley. That's a singer.
And he leans over his dead body. He's like dead as a doorknob. He's so cold from the very get go. And like the mere thought of like paying for the funeral, it like hurts him. Like,
was he paying or was it kind of like a tip?
No, he's paying for him to be like cremated or buried.
I got you.
And then he stole the money off of his eyes.
He goes, tuppence on tuppence. Steals the money off the dead guy's body.
Okay, so I had a little theory, right? Obviously, he's just a prick, and like he's doing all this stuff, and that's kind of why all the ghosts come.
Yeah.
But you think it was kind of bad luck that he took the coins, right? Because wasn't that a thing like that money on their eyes is like their passage into like the afterlife?
Yeah, to pay for them.
There was some tradition like
it's to pay the ferryman to take them away.
And wasn't it kind of like isn't it like kind of bad juju to do that? Like to take those coins away and not be able to help them.
I don't.
Which is why his friend was able to come back and help him.
Ooh, it's possible.
Yeah, because he didn't actually pass over because he wasn't able to.
Ooh.
He had been traveling for 7 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, but when he looked out the window, all the ghosts were out there. There was like 100 of them.
Right.
But maybe there's other people that couldn't pay the ferryman.
If you can't pay the ferryman, you can't go on.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's just a theory. It's just a game theory.
But speaking of the animation though, like how Scrooge is like portrayed, you just get this old like crotchety man who just hates everything. Like he's bent over, he has the cane.
He has a huge hump on his back, and he's just
the nose is crooked, and it's like
he has the longest nose.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking about his I kept looking back to like when I had the flashbacks, right? His nose and chin weren't that big back in the day.
Dude, what if he just like it got worse with age? Like as he got meaner and older, he just got worse.
Got a longer nose like Pinocchio.
He's been meaner. Instead of lying, he just had to get meaner. he hates everything in the beginning. Like, he sees these kids playing delinquents.
He sees them riding on the back of a car, like skating on the streets, and he goes, delinquents.
Like, they're just having fun, and he just hates it. He only loves money, which is that's pretty based, you know. Like, ow.
Yeah, you see the people singing on the sidewalk. They hide the money can behind
the cup of money, and
I missed that.
Yeah,
like it's for like, I imagine it's like charity or something.
Well, it's they're carolers, and normally you collect money as a caroler, because you're not doing it for free.
Well, ain't it like, I'm guessing it's part of the church, because like later on they're in front of the church doing it.
Maybe not. You know, money's money.
Money's money.
Anyways, he has a reputation that people know that he wants money, and they hide the money from him.
Oh, we forgot the kids with like the wheels.
Oh yeah. As he's walking back home, there's two kids playing stick and wheel. That's actually the game. I'm pretty sure.
It's called stick and wheel.
Stick and hoop.
Stick and hoop.
Something like that. You whack a hoop with a stick and you run alongside it.
God, kids were bored.
They see Scrooge cross the street. They see him. They go, "Oh crap!" and they turn the other way and run away.
That's another thing. Down the street that he came, there was nobody. Like, it shows all this bustling, and then there was nobody around him.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he has like a walk to it. Like, I wonder how long this walk is to his house. Like, he has it in a place where like nobody else lives.
Probably. I mean,
there are neighbors. Like, there's buildings you can see, and then like towards the end of the movie, right? Like the kids walking. So there are people around him, but it is secluded because he has like that giant fence surrounding his place.
And he locks up the fence. He's well, as he leaves like the work, he has like 3 locks on his door. I think he has OCD because he locks the door 3 times to like for the shop, you know, because obviously he has money. He has a gate in his house so nobody can get in. And he has a lock on his front door, and he has a lock in his bedroom. 3 locks on like his bedroom door. So I'm thinking this dude is like, he has to lock up everything.
Well, I feel like he's so all about money. He doesn't want anybody to steal his. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's part of it too.
It could also be like an in-depth character view of like he's very secluded and locked up in his own heart.
It's true.
You know, later on he unlocks and becomes happy with 3 ghosts.
Okay, I was about to say
just an idea.
We just mentioned 3 a lot there. Do you remember the archetypes we talked about, Devin?
What
did 3 mean?
3?
I knew it was like kind of like Trinity, right? And like divine, but in this sense, I don't think that exactly applies to Scrooge.
3 ghosts?
Because like even like Devin said, like he had 3 on his door at the work, and then 3 in his like own room.
But I don't think the ghosts are, because it's past, present, future. That just happens to be like in 3, and you can put it as many.
It doesn't just happen to be.
Past, present, future. There's nothing else but the past, the present, and the future.
There's definitely more than that.
Okay, what is there?
Soon to be, soon gone.
Yeah, no.
Soonish.
Past, present, future.
Something that's about to happen, maybe, sort of, and then.
And then you get into the multiverse, and then it's just all these different tangents.
Right. You know, so you're technically you're wrong, but it's okay.
No, but when we learned about archetypes, writers and stuff, they tend to stick to certain numbers. It's like 3, 4, and 7. And it's within their writing. You don't think they actually do it, right? I thought that in high school. But you see it everywhere nowadays. And
so this is like English teachers' dreams.
oh, yeah. 3, 3, 3, 3. Oh, it should be going off. But
so why do you think he had 3 ghosts, huh? Why do you think he had 3 locks on the door and the 3 ghosts?
That's exactly what you asked, you know? I can't remember. But it's like, I believe it had something to do with like Trinity, holiness, right? Because think of like religion, the 3.
Yeah.
And
probably something like that.
But I don't understand how that would apply to Scrooge in this sense, because he's not exactly any of those things.
The beginning, the middle, and the end.
But
of life.
Oh, the 3s?
3, it can mean I mean, there's a lot of things.
So like past, present, and future?
Yeah.
Well, you could do this, right? So like it started at his work, which is where all of his greed started at, because like when we get the flashback with his...
Yeah. Well, it all started at school, right? Everybody left without him.
And also when you see the number 3, it'll lead to something divine.
And
ghosts.
so it started there. That's where his greed started, right?
Yeah.
The gate, the canal, right, whatever. Like, that's where he starts opening up at the end, starting letting people in, the kid in, the guy. And then end would technically be his house, right? Because that's where he's supposed to die.
Yeah.
So that could be start bidding in. And then I just want to say the whole Trinity thing, ain't like the Holy Spirit supposed to be like this giant fiery thing, correct?
I couldn't tell you.
Something.
Something like that. It's like this seen as like this bright light.
I don't know.
Well, ain't the first one a giant candle?
Right, but then he kills him. So.
Yeah, I feel like
so
the
there's a
locks don't really mean anything.
There's a passage of time, like it's like on the sign of like his
Yes, dude,
of
that's so
his business. There's a passage of time, like the paint gets all cracked and like the letter of Marley like tilt like it's falling off, and we understand that 7 years have passed since Jacob died, and he might have already been doing pretty well for himself, but like he's rich. He's like rich now.
What is he? Like a lender? Is that what?
he's a money lender. So people owe him money. They ask for money, and then they owe him like double.
Double?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like
he
interest.
is ruthless.
And we get to see how he treats like
His employees.
yeah, was it Bob Cratchit?
Yeah, something like that.
He
Cratchit.
doesn't provide heat for
Yeah, he has 2 furnaces, and one of them's burning in his office, and the other one is he has a lockbox for the coal.
Yeah.
too much money. Coal costs money.
Coal costs money, but like it's coal.
He's a pimp. Pimping ain't easy.
Pimping ain't easy.
He got the cane, and I'm just saying
He does. Have
he's got the cane, dude. He's a pimp. But so he doesn't even treat people really well, and he's got this like need for wealth. Like the only thing that matters is wealth, and we find out why that's the case a little bit later on in the movie. But yeah, he's just not a very good person, like down to his core. It's exemplified when his nephew comes in and he's like, "Merry Christmas, how's it going and everything?" And we get the classic like, "Bah humbug!" Like, just get out of here. I don't want you around.
Is that where that saying started? Was this, or was it like before? Because I really don't really hear it a lot.
I believe isn't the original
Probably
like 1960s.
The earliest one I remember watching was, I think it was in 1978.
Okay, yeah,
But like
something like that.
That's where like Bahama
I imagine
comes
it was
from
a-
Christmas
I
Carol?
imagine it was a
Humbug.
book beforehand. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right, but it comes from a Christmas Carol.
probably.
I would think so.
I think so.
Or it's just a saying,
But yeah, that's what I don't know if it came from.
And it got popular from this story.
Right.
I don't know.
That's why it's still in circulation today, maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Then I don't know if much happens after that. He just kind of goes
No.
home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he goes home and he goes to
then
his
dude,
door.
the scariest. Oh yeah.
He goes to the door and sees his dead buddy's face.
This
on the
movie was a
door.
lot scarier than I remember.
Yeah.
Like kind of graphic a little bit.
Yeah,
Like
it's rated PG for intense images of like horror.
yeah.
I don't remember it being scary as a kid,
But
but
definitely
like watching it now, I'm like, oh my god.
I feel like it's because I didn't pay attention to it as a kid. Like it came on, I'm like, I can do other stuff,
Yeah.
So
Oh, I loved this movie as a kid.
I did not.
And then he falls on his back, which
Yeah.
I don't know how old.
That's when he dies.
I was gonna
He's
say I don't know
dead
how
now.
old he is, but he probably broke his back right there.
He's got the worst hunchback too.
yeah, it landed right on the hunch.
Yeah, that's probably what saved him. That could have been what saved him.
The hunch saved him.
Well, true. And at the end, he's like standing up, so possibly.
So
he
he
gets
falls
up,
down the stairs.
He gets up and he's like, it's gone. He's like, all right,
Yeah.
I was just tripping. He just goes in the house.
Well, it was his door
The
knocker. The
Mhm.
knocker that turned into his friend Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
then
then
it went
it's
away.
gone. And then he's like, all right, I'm just messing. Like, what does he say? I've given myself the willies.
Yeah, give myself the willies.
And he makes himself some porridge or what?
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out what that was.
I'm pretty sure it's mushroom stew, and it's like the good kind of mushroom.
I
Looked
think it's like
nasty. I don't know
oatmeal.
what it was.
I thought it was oatmeal.
the way that he starts tripping afterwards, it has to be mushroom stew, and it had to have been bad mushrooms.
No, I think it was oatmeal.
Yeah, I don't know if he even starts eating it though, but like he sits down and dude, the creepiest part for me, this is the creepiest part of the movie where he like sits down and like the bells start ringing throughout the different parts of the house.
Yeah,
Dude, how scary would that be if you know you're home alone and those bells like start ringing?
Are those actual things? Like,
yes.
In other rooms, is that
so
just
like,
to wake you up in that? Or
when you have a larger house, so like nowadays there's intercoms through the house.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they didn't have intercom systems or whatever.
Really?
So you'd ring a bell if you needed somebody's attention. And like, like, oh, this bell rings to this room or this bell rings to that room.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you know somebody's in that room, you can ding the bell and then they'll be like, what do you need? Yelling out the doorway or whatever.
And all of them ring.
Yes. All of them rang at the exact same time.
Like crazy ring.
Yeah, like they were about to fall off the dang wall.
And then we hear the door open and close, and we just hear like this stomping, kind of. It's just like a stomp and a beat.
Stomp and drag.
Yeah.
Right.
Just over and over again. And he finally gets to the door, and he like turns the knob a little bit, but Ebenezer has locked it 3 times. And so
I was gonna say when Riley and I were watching it, he was like, "He's a ghost. Just go through the door."
Yeah. Yeah, and then he grabs these crates and he throws them through the door.
Are those money are those boxes of money?
I have no
couldn't
idea.
tell what those were.
I think it's just like it's
Just wait.
things that weigh you down in life.
Yeah.
That's
Like
I mean that's what
insecurities or
yeah.
Because like one of the ghosts outside was being beat by keys that were attached to him, and another one was like a fishing rod. So I don't know.
That's what I thought they were. Is like just
Lock
these
boxes.
boxes of coins
that's
that
possible.
are weighing them down. Because like you hear, oh, I guess it could have. Like I was thinking of the noises that he made, but those could have just been like the chains, like just rattling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he goes, do you recognize these chains? So maybe they're the exact same chains that he has. But then we get introduced to who it is, and
he doesn't even recognize them.
Well, yeah, it's been 7 years. Yeah, it's been a while, so he didn't recognize his own like business partner. And what happens then? He goes, "Do you?"
Then we have a scene to play for you that pretty much is kind of what he says, because he's like, "This is my baggage. Like you've got some too."
Yeah. So he's gonna scream at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So just
fair warning.
fair warning.
We'll go ahead and play that for you.
Not. I do! I must! You are fitted in chains. Why?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Do you recognize its pattern? Can you imagine the weight and length of the chain you bear? It was as heavy and long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. Yours is a ponderous chain.
So I was looking up what were attached to his chains, right? So obviously he made those chains through his life, all the burdens and stuff that he did to people and like what possessed his life. Attached to those chains he was just talking about, it said they're forged from what he valued in life, money and materials, and attached to them are ledgers.
Okay, scoot back a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
You're talking like past the
Like
mic.
below your mic.
So attached to the chains are ledgers and cash boxes, which are each objects of symbolizing money making and the priority of his life.
That's what, like, I play Red Dead Redemption too much, and like those lock boxes of money. That's what I thought they looked like, and I was like, maybe. But yeah, no, you put it pretty well, Riley, when we were watching it. The chains like that are around Jacob Marley, they symbolize that he is tied. He was tied, even though he didn't realize it. He was tied down by his wealth in life, and now he's tied down by his wealth in death.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Thanks. I don't remember saying that.
Because it's true though. Like, I think if you rely too much on like materialistic stuff, you are kind of in a way a slave to that thing. Like, it controls you. It can it weighs you down, even though if you don't realize, you think you're in control, you think you love this, and you think you own it, when in reality it owns you. And it's interesting to see how that affects different people throughout this movie.
Should I bring up like the family thing? Like, should I bring that up when Christmas Past is here, or should I bring that up now?
About what family?
Based on like letting wealth and your job take over your life, and what you're just saying there.
Oh, I think it applies more
For
a little bit later.
Past.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
So
But then he breaks his jaw.
yeah,
Like the ghost breaks, like he like freaks out because like
you are a good man of business, and then
business, and
and
he, like,
his
freaks
jaw breaks off.
and I'm like, this is on Disney Plus.
It was kinda
Kids are
bad.
gonna watch this.
Well, then he tries to put it back, and it looks like
Yeah.
so.
So what happened was he had this like this wraparound that went up on top of his head.
He had that
And
when
it
he was in
came
the
undone.
when he died. I don't
Yeah.
know why they did that back in the day.
Maybe
for
he
bodies.
broke his jaw. Like he must have fallen and broken his jaw and died or something.
Because it never told us how he died, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it could have been something like
I don't know
But-
if it was a burial thing or I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. But it makes sense if it was because like as the bones deteriorate or as the
They wanna
flesh
hold it
deteriorates,
together.
it holds together.
Okay.
But what happens was it came untied on top.
Oh.
So he then tried to tighten it, and he tightened it too much, and he had to start mumbling. Like, so that's what happened there.
super messed up.
But it's just so scary.
But an important thing about this is Marley warns Ebenezer that 3 ghosts are going to come visit him in 3 days, I think he says.
Yeah, he said one at the chime of one bell, and then the next day at the chime of the second bell.
Yeah, he tells him the time of each. And so he warns him that 3 ghosts are coming. Does he say what the ghosts are, or does he just say 3 spirits are coming?
3 spirits.
Yeah.
And not long after that, we do meet the first spirit, and it's the ghost of Christmas Past.
It's terrifying.
And
Really?
each one of these
Yes.
ghosts are super terrifying.
A little bit. Okay, but this first one reminds me of the sun from the Teletubbies because it's got a face on it. It just has a face like on this ghost.
Just how this ghost talked in like that kind of high pitched, soft. Yeah,
Good
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like
No,
that
it's
at all.
not.
I like before they even like went into like the first like scene or whatever. He's just at the bedside, just kind of dancing, like he just
Yeah.
bobbing around.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I'm like, why are you dancing? There ain't no music.
He goes, "Will you please put your cap on? It's very bright."
He's like, oh, like this, and he zooms into his face. He's like, is this worse?
Was it? I had a question. Is it just me, or did everybody else kind of have a problem hearing like the first 2 ghosts? Like, I don't know, it could have just been like the TV, or I had it down.
I don't think it was the TV. I think
I think so. The Ghost of Christmas Past was kind of difficult to understand, but it's mainly because for me, I just don't have great hearing. So when he goes, "It's all about the month," see, even my mic cut out. It's hard to understand him.
well, in a lot of these, like, I only noticed it really with the ghosts, but like every ghost, they didn't pronunciate very well. And they kind of slurred their words. So I think
Yeah.
it was more of like the actors. They
The
just
last-
didn't do a very good
The
job.
last
of
one didn't even
pronunciating.
speak, did it?
Yeah, I
No.
mean,
No.
he could have done a way better job. That last one.
Yeah, that last one kind of.
Maybe talk. Maybe like talk even
Maybe
a little bit.
use your words, idiot.
Oh, I did look up that thing about around the head. You guys want me to explain
Yeah,
that?
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
So Riley's kind of right. So it's to keep their mouth closed in death
Mm,
because like rigor mortis, right? It stiffens your muscles, and it,
mm.
most of the time it causes your jaw just to fly open.
Nice.
But he also used it like in like the past ones, like other versions, to scare him more. Instead of his jaw just breaking open when he's screaming, he purposely takes it off for his jaw to fall down to
Oh,
scare.
okay.
So
Uh,
these
kinda-
these are horror films, is what I'm understanding.
So this first ghost takes him back to the past, obviously, and he sees his life growing up. Like he went to a boarding school, I guess,
Yeah.
and we get a little inkling that his dad was kind of an angry dude, because he sent him. He
I
sent.
don't even know if he was at a boarding school. I think he just was at school.
I think it was.
and
just
he
a
was
school.
homeless because his parents kicked
his
him
dad
out.
kicked him out,
Yeah.
and his sister runs into the house like, "Hey, your dad lets you coming back in." So it's like, okay, cool. He's back with his family. That's good,
The way she said it made me think that he was like an angry drunk dad.
right?
Yeah, kind of.
She's like, I
He's
actually
finally
I
nice,
pulled up
yeah.
the works to ask Dad if you can come home, and he said you could.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and she was like, he talked to me so gentle one night, and I wasn't even afraid to ask him,
Right.
Yeah.
like, if you were gonna.
Which makes me think that he had some
Mhm.
kind of substance abuse.
What was he singing?
Which one?
When we go to
He was singing
school,
something in Latin.
it was Latin?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Child is born. That's what I remember. It's a.
Like, was it
it's a
related to Christmas?
Yeah, it's a Christmas song.
So he didn't always hate Christmas.
It's that one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Or it's What Child Is This?
Yes,
that's the
what it
song.
And then a little bit later, like he start his job at the
Yeah, it then shows him starting
He's
his
an
job
apprentice.
as an apprentice.
and his
at
boss
the-
is super cool.
Dude,
like he loves
loves
Christmas.
Christmas.
He's having parties.
But he was poor at the time.
Right. And he didn't
So-
care. Nobody cared that they were poor.
Right.
And then he meets a girl and they fall in love, at least for a little bit.
I didn't understand. I don't know. Maybe I just like missed part of it, but I didn't understand when they were both talking. Like after they had met, then like fast forwarded, and
Uh-huh.
he was in the office where he
Yeah,
like,
he was in
currently
his
is
new
working.
office.
Right. And they were arguing
Right.
because they were both poor at one time, but then like their contract is up or something. That's what I got out of it.
No,
But
so she released him of their marriage. They had been
Right.
married.
I think they're
And
just being like formal.
I think he was getting corrupted too. He was getting corrupted by the money because he was starting to
he was starting to work more
when
and
they
not
m-
even care
right.
about her. He was more like,
worried
well,
about
we can't really go
worried
out
about-
and do
yeah.
anything because we need to save our money, you know? She's like, well, we have the money now. We can do all of this.
He's
Okay,
like,
that makes sense,
he's like,
yeah.
I want to keep it, and you just want to spend it, and it's like now he cares about something. And she says you've changed,
Yeah.
and he's like, he doesn't even realize. He's like, no, I haven't. I haven't changed with you.
Except he
He
has.
has.
though.
He just doesn't think so because he thinks he's in control of his money.
I don't know if it was just kind of like the British terms, and they're just trying to be like super formal, right? And like be the proper way to say it,
Mhm.
or put it into terms that he would understand because he's a businessman, and like he deals with this stuff on the daily.
Right.
So I feel like she's kind of putting in terms that he'd understand, besides divorce and all this other
True.
stuff.
Yeah, it's also possible.
Wait, were they actually married though? I didn't.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so.
that's
Yeah.
what she.
So
releasing.
then she leaves, and I think that's obviously where he after that he just kind of recluses himself to not feel anymore and to
Well,
only care about his business. And
Even when he was talking to the ghost, he goes, "Can we please leave now? I'm
Yeah.
not happy with this," or
he,
something like
he
that.
doesn't want to face it.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh.
where he goes off?
he smothers the light.
He grabs. I don't know what he grabs. He grabs a long funnel or
You know,
something.
he grabs the funnel that the guy came with
Yeah, the little cap, like
Oh.
the
the
candle
cap
cap.
Okay.
on the fire to put
And
it out.
and he thinks he killed it. I guess I don't know how you can
Put
kill
it
a ghost.
out
He
Um,
smothers it and he goes, haha, I got him.
and it's like a firework. It just shoots up into the air.
into space, and then I thought that I don't know that that the ghost was gonna come back and save him from falling,
Nope.
but he falls straight down from the moon.
Yeah.
Just falls on his back. He's like, oh,
The,
and gets up.
Oh,
Oh.
what happened was he fell out of bed.
Yeah.
In the beginning, right when he first meets the ghost, he says, I'm immortal. I'm gonna die." But the ghost puts his hand on his chest and gives him a power or something
Yeah,
so
to fly.
he won't die or something.
Well, he gave him the power to fly because,
Oh, because he
They-
said he would fall.
yeah,
right.
he's like, come out the window. And he goes, I can't
so
do
he,
that.
so he had the power to fly,
Yeah,
and he just
why didn't
didn't.
he
Well,
Why
he
didn't you just
smothered
fly?
the guy who gave it to him.
Yeah, he killed the guy who gave him the power.
And he's back in his bed again.
Yeah, he fell out of his bed and now he's awake. He's
Yeah, he
awoken.
Smacked his
Um,
face. This is time a very old man has taken a fall.
I'm almost positive he's been dead.
No.
He's dead this whole time.
I don't think it's one of those stories.
We need some life alert.
I don't know if they had that in
I
the
sensed a
1800s.
fall. Are you okay?
Then there's some commotion going on in the room next to him.
Yeah,
and
so
there's,
the clock rings again,
Mhm.
and then he hears music coming from the room next to him.
he's like, what's going on in there?
And
And
then we meet the most annoying ghost.
Yes, I said the exact same thing.
he's laughing all the time.
It's like an obnoxious laugh. It's not like, haha, that was funny.
It's really annoying.
It is the worst.
It's the ghost of Christmas Present. And the first one was a little flame. And it is kind of looks, he looks like a dude, but just like big,
Younger.
like just a big dude.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a giant.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
present one. Yeah.
But
Eh.
what really gets me is the way that he talks about his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know my brothers, at least a couple of them, you know. And he's like, I'm the 1842nd. And I'm like, that's the year.
I was gonna say
That makes total sense.
I think that I agree. I think that's because it's the present day. If is what he's talking about. So then, yeah, it would be 1842.
So would they mean that all versions of Christmas
are different.
or they're different, but they all have flames? Because the first two, obviously, like that first one he met, I don't know which one that would have been. Maybe number one. I don't know. But he's a fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second guy has a giant torch which emits flames.
Mhm.
Right, but it goes out when Christmas is over.
That's true. I'm guessing same with the other guy. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Obviously, I can explain the last one because I have a theory on why he doesn't have a flame. But
It's because he's straight
Wait,
up dead.
wait.
He's just straight up dead.
That's your
I-
last one.
I think it was a coincidence that coincidence.
Coincidence?
Coincidence.
A coincidence.
I think it's
Coinkydink.
coincident. Yeah, a coinkydink that the ghost of Christmas past was like on Christmas Eve, and then he went to bed and he woke up December. So the past, maybe he only lives on Eve, and like it had hit midnight or something when he put that cap over the
and
thing.
he lives for that hour.
And then
The Ghost of Christmas Present lives for that hour
and,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Then the present is for Christmas Day. Maybe or
I don't
no?
know.
because he still
See, I'm always
experiences
confused because
past.
he wakes up on Christmas morning.
Right.
Yeah.
This
So
all happens overnight.
Yeah, so they were supposed to come three different nights,
Mhm.
but they decided to all come in one night because he would have died at Christmas.
And like each hour, like I think it was like each hour that the
Yeah. I
ghost
think so.
came.
each hour.
well, the last one lasted more than an hour because
Right.
it was morning. But
Well, did it?
well,
No, because it was midnight when the.
yeah, there
present
would have had
went
to been
away.
at least 6 hours of
Then
something.
he woke up,
I
right?
think it's
He
just
woke up
like
and
the
it
fact
was
that it's a
sunshine-
Disney.
sunshine.
Right. So I think it was the end of his trip. You know, like he was tripping and now he's not
Are you
anymore.
back to the mushrooms?
Yes. I think this whole movie can be explained by a mushroom trip.
I don't know.
Anyways, so what happens with the Ghost of Christmas Present is, which I didn't notice this either. It's, it's the present. They're in a box.
Yes,
They're in a
that's what I'm
present.
saying.
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
They were
Um,
inside of like a very shiny, sparkly box, and like you could see out the bottom. So I'm like, this is a.
It's gotta be a present. But so he sees in the present day how he treats like his employees and how it's affecting their family, and he sees Tiny Tim.
Oh, I don't like Tiny Tim.
And I was
Why?
if Tiny Tim wasn't such a beta, he could have kicked
He
the
just-
sick.
If he was just not such a little loser.
He had polio.
Yeah, outgrow it.
I don't know
But
if
no.
that's how that
Do
works.
better, Tiny Tim.
But no, he sees how like paying his employee like the bare minimum
Affects their life.
affects like they have food and they have family, but like
Right,
it
but they have like 8 children who all
Right.
work to pay for their house.
They're
Yeah.
living in a shack that looks like the one off of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
See, when I saw it, I was like, hey, that's like a 4-story house.
just an apartment.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, Tiny Tim is sick and they don't have the money to help pay for it, so it's just kind of like unfortunately like a slow death deal. And Scrooge, it's like he's looking at it and he says something like, I don't want to look at this. Don't show me
And
this.
he like talks to the Ghost of Christmas Present, right? And he goes, does he make it?
Right.
He's like, I see an empty chair and a empty cane a cane with no owner
Yeah.
in the future.
And
It's
it's
like,
like
Damn, Tiny Tim gonna die.
But he tried to run away from
Let's go.
what he was seeing.
Right.
The
Yeah.
ghost just picks him up.
and like holds him there. No, look at it. And then Tiny Tim dies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
Well, is that Christmas to come? That was cute. That's Christmas future, isn't it?
right. No, right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I'm just saying, back then you couldn't really outrun polio.
Well, I mean, didn't Didn't Forrest Gump do that?
I don't know if
That was not polio.
Oh.
That was a
He just kept running.
disorder.
If I believe right, like later
No,
on,
FDR, even FDR in like 1945 had polio and he still died from it.
yeah, ain't those the people that ended up having to be in like the iron lung?
Yeah, if you
Yes.
get polio from like the neck down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you can survive it. And like, but if you don't do anything, then you just die. GG.
Well, I mean, it would save me from hearing "God bless us." It would have saved me from hearing that. Ugh,
Riley hates Tiny Tim. He hates Christmas.
just the worst character.
But no, these ghosts are super scary. Like as the Christmas present dies, like he's laughing as he turns into like a skeleton and like the
his skin blows away into dust.
and the skeleton still laughs. And I'm like, this is messed up. And then he like disappears, and like
when
it's
the
like-
clock chimes 12, he
Yeah.
disappears.
Wait, it
and
chimed 12 again.
I think maybe it just chimed 12 when he died, and then it's all quiet, and he's like, and then I think he's like, okay, where's the next ghost?
Yeah.
Where's the ghost of Christmas future?
And because he was like, "Tell me what's gonna
Third
come."
spirits,
like,
where are you?
well, he was gonna see like if he.
And it's
I
like
don't
it's just the shadow. It's like the shadow on the ground, and it's like this super quiet, and it's super unnerving for me because like it's just this shadow. It's death, basically, is what this ghost is.
Right.
It's like it's the Grim Reaper.
That's why I think he doesn't have a flame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is mainly because it
Flame
is your
is
last.
out.
It's your last Christmas. It's smothered. It's gone. You're done for.
And he's
his
like, "Come on,
long
spirit."
Fingers.
He's like, "Come on, spirit."
The
Or what are you gonna do?
bones.
And it jump scares him. Like it goes into his face, and it's like it starts out
If it touches him, he's dead. It's death.
100%.
100%.
No, I want to say something. He did touch it
He
When?
was hanging on to
He was
it when he
hanging
was
on to
going
it.
to
right at the
his
very end.
grave.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was hanging, but that could have led to like he touched it. He's gonna go die now.
Yeah.
Because he was falling into the grave.
But he basically gets kind of pushed down this huge thing of stairs and lands kind of where these two guys are talking about this guy who died, and they're like, "Well, he wouldn't, nobody's gonna go to his funeral anyway. I'll go if lunch is served or something,
Yeah, if lunch is provided, I'll go.
Yeah.
and they took his clothes.
Yes, they took his clothes off of him. His maid took his clothes off of him when he died. She stole his blankets,
Oh yeah.
his bed curtains.
So he was literally buried with nothing.
He had nobody and nothing when he was buried.
Do you remember what he said when he saw that? He goes, "You're fired. You're fired."
And then we
It
get
takes
to
him to the
see
Tiny Tim thing,
Tiny Tim. Yeah.
and like he's still in the bed, so he must have maybe he died that night.
What I'm thinking is his father went to Scrooge's funeral because he had to,
Maybe
because he's the only person who worked for him.
right.
the only one that
Maybe the
went.
only person that really knew him.
Right. And then he comes
missed-
home and he goes, "My
He
baby
missed.
boy."
Yeah, he missed. He missed Tiny Tim dying, which, oof.
Let's go. the
Tiny
best timeline.
Tim-
Doesn't even make sense, Riley. He has like 3 lines in this movie, and he does absolutely nothing.
And 2 of
you
them are
hate
the
him.
worst line of any movie
Okay,
I've
Riley
ever
just
heard.
wants attention.
No.
He just hates
God bless
Christmas.
us, Shut up.
It was pretty bad line. I'm not gonna lie. It was cringy. Like you didn't have to say that.
Yeah, he could have just been like, "God bless." Like, that's it. Like everybody else at the entire table, they all go, "God bless, God bless, God bless." And he goes, "God bless us, Shut up.
Anyways, so the Ghost of Christmas Future takes it. I'm just gonna call him Death. So
Makes sense.
So Death takes him to a grave, and he's reading. He sees his name on the grave. He's like, "Oh crap!" And he's like, he sees the day he was born. He's like, "That's fine, that's cool." So the day I was born, and then it takes him to like.
It says died 25th December.
Which we knew that obviously because
It showed the year, right?
No, it
19.
didn't.
It didn't show the last 2 digits.
It was not 19 because he was born in 1780. So it was definitely
18.
not the 1900s.
I can't read.
It-
All right,
it-
Emma, you
it-
got me.
It showed the. We just didn't know what year it was.
Yeah.
We knew everything else but the year.
Well, that'd have to make your Christmases suck. You die on that day.
Well, he can rewrite his future. He goes, I can change it, right? I can change all this.
Ooh, what led him to the to the gravesite was because he saw someone laying in a bed, and Death was like basically about to unveil who it was. He goes, damn.
Nah, Death was really weird about that. He like rubbed his finger all the way down the body. It made me uncomfortable.
And then he goes, after Tiny Tim, he goes, who was laying in that
the
bed?
bed.
And then he gets thrown into this graveyard.
Yeah.
And like what is that? What do they call it? The casket, the box you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
The coffin.
sarcophagus.
That is it's real deep. That's like all the way to hell.
It was
Definitely
burning red.
longer than 6 feet.
What's the word? Sarcophagus?
Sarcophagus?
For the
Sarcophagus?
Egyptians.
Carsophagus?
Sarcophagus?
Sarcophagus.
I can't. I'm not
It's
gonna
a
say it. Still can't figure it out.
Anyway, so I think it's like kind of subtle that like, yeah, you're going to hell.
Yeah, it was way deeper than 6 feet.
Yeah, he starts running away, which is what opens the hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he grabs onto the root because he's like this giant cavern down the.
Right. He doesn't want to go.
Well, and you can see below, like, his coffin is, like, smothered in orange and red. Or,
Right.
like, there's, like, a light underneath of it.
Right.
There's fire.
It's
Yeah.
fire.
He's
There's
gonna burn.
definitely
He's gonna burn.
Right.
And then the root like turns into like the Death's finger.
He holds onto the root, and then it slips, and so he holds tighter, and then it turns into Death's finger.
Well, he did ask Death to help him, like save
Yeah,
him.
I was like, yo, he's about to help you.
yeah,
What are you
he's like,
doing?
he finally let you touch him, and
I don't know if he was scared because he lets go. I don't know
Yeah.
if he was scared
100% he's scared. Are
Yeah,
you
that
kidding
he was
me?
touching like Death's finger, and so he lets go and he falls. He's like, what? He wakes up, and it's the morning.
He's hanging upside down. I want to point that out.
Yeah,
he's hanging upside down in his bed.
He gets tangled like in the curtains around his bed. So he's
And he goes, they're still here. Let's go.
Okay. I just popped in my head, right? He was supposed to die on Christmas, right? And they're
Yeah.
kind of alluding to is
Right.
that Christmas. Do you think he was going to die of loneliness and to wish the fact he went to suicide, which is why he was hanging from the curtains?
I don't know about
Because
that.
he was
No, he
tied
was
up
like
in that. He wasn't just like, oh, I fell into it. It was wrapped around him.
His foot, though.
It was Yeah, he did it upside down. He did it wrong.
If
Killed-
he was
killed
trying
himself wrong.
to, if he was trying to commit,
I feel like he was just
Well,
old.
he changed his fate, right?
I feel like he could just died of old age in his bed.
yeah.
I think he just
I
had a
don't know.
really bad mushroom trip.
And I do agree though. He was, if he didn't change it, he was going to die that night. He was going to die in his sleep that night.
Yeah.
But
no, 100%.
he went through this journey and he woke up the next
That's
morning.
why all three of them came in one day.
Right, because they knew that they're like, oh, this guy's gonna die.
He's
This is a
dead if
basket
we
case,
don't.
you know?
Yeah.
He wakes up. It's the morning. He sees this little kid, like on the street, and he's like, "What day is it?"
Boy, what is today?
He just answers him like it's Christmas morning. It's like, "Oh, what a delightful child." He's complimenting him, and he was like, "Can you go get the turkey?" And he was like, "The one that as big as me." And he's like, "Oh, what the nice little child with the smart child." He's like, "Oh, he's happy now."
He's bipolar.
Yeah.
Well, the kid originally blew him off. He goes, I'll pay you. He goes, okay, shit.
Yeah, no, he goes, yeah, okay, right, bud. Sure, I will. I'll go get it.
He's like, "I'll give you this," and the kid's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, he's gunning for that
I'll give
turkey.
you half a pence.
Is that a lot? I don't even know.
And back then, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like $10.
And
Was
then
it?
he goes out of his room and he sees the maid and he's like, "You are the most beautiful creature I've ever." And I'm like, "You can be happy, that's
He's
fine."
losing his mind.
But that's Cap. She's he can be
She-
happy, that's fine. But
She thinks that he's gone nuts.
oh yeah,
She goes, he's gone bonkers.
he like
gone
he
mad.
slides down the.
He chases her down the stairs.
She beats him with a duster.
And in his pajamas, he like goes out and he gets the turkey. No, he sends the turkey in a carriage.
See, where does he send it to?
I don't know.
The
My-
family, because it was the little boy and his dad, and he said, have a nice like family something.
Oh, he just
something."
gives it to a random family.
That kid's family. He
Oh.
gives it to that
Except it
kid's
couldn't
family.
be, because that wasn't his father. That was the butcher himself.
Yeah, I think the butcher brought it down.
Because nobody paid for the dang turkey. He
Yeah,
didn't
he
give
did.
the kid any money.
Yeah, he
The kid
did.
just he
No,
didn't.
after the fact.
After the fact,
When
he
the
gave the
turkey
kid
was
money.
on his front yard.
Yeah, and then he gave him money.
Yeah.
Right, but that's why that was the butcher, because the butcher's not going to just give away his prize turkey and be like, "All right, come back with my money."
Yeah, he has a point. No one's not
So-
just because that was the biggest turkey there.
That was the prized
Right,
prize
and
turkey.
he paid for it when the kid showed up with the turkey.
Right, but like, so
Yeah.
he didn't just give it to that family.
That's why he's
'cause that's not
saying
the,
that's the
not
reason
son
why
and
it's the-
father.
Okay,
Then who'd he
no,
give-
but
then who'd he give it
I
to?
think he
Give
gave
the
it to
kid.
Tiny Tim. I think he gave it to what's his Cratchit.
Bob Crackett.
I think he gave it to
Bob
Cratchit.
Cratchit.
Cratchit's family.
Probably.
I think so too, because he's
that's
like
why I was
he
really
didn't want Tim to
confused.
die. But I also thought maybe he sent it to his son, but it doesn't say who
Whose
he sent
son?
No.
His own,
He
or
says
is his
have
nephew?
His
a
nephew.
good. He
No,
like
I don't think
when
so.
he sends it, he sends a message that like he like says something.
Have
that
a
is-
safe trip or something.
Yeah, that is meaning that like he's that kid is gonna get that turkey. He says something along those lines, like
See,
here,
that's-
this is
that's
for
where I'm
you. Or,
confused.
here you go.
I don't know.
I
That's
think
why he
may-
gave him that pince. He goes, "This is for you." I don't know. I could
Maybe
be wrong.
I
don't know.
think now the kid got it. In my opinion, after this debate, the kid got it.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Uh,
it's a movie. Who cares?
It then he goes to his work.
Yeah, he goes to his work.
He goes to work.
He pretends to be mad.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I love when he's pretending.
What's up?
What does he do first?
he recreated the delinquents.
Oh yeah, he goes skating.
Yes, he rides the he rides the carriage to work, and he like wipes out on the way there.
That
That's-
also would have.
And he's mortal at this. He's mortal again. Like he doesn't have any powers. He could die.
The thing that confuses me is he said to Cratchit, he's like, "Well, be here early the next day," because I thought he gave him Christmas off.
He did.
Oh, he did. No, he did.
Yeah, it's the next day.
He didn't go to work that day.
Yeah, it was the
That
next
day he went over and he saw everybody about to just flame him.
Right. Yeah.
They were so mean.
And then yeah, he's like 16 minutes late or something like that.
Well, no, we got to talk about that night, Christmas night, when he goes over to his nephew's house.
No, this is before.
It's not. It can't
The
be.
movie ends with him at his nephew's house.
At his nephew's
Right.
house eating dinner.
Mhm.
Yes, so he's at work and his coworker comes in and he's like pretending to be all mad and then he was like I'm actually going to raise your salary or something like that, and then he was like his coworker's so confused.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't believe. He's like,
No,
what is
no,
happening?
no. Okay, now I know you guys are wrong. Because it ends with Bob Cratchit going, or what's his name?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It ends with Bob Cratchit stepping out the door and going, and he was true to his word.
He does a
And blah, 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 blah,
monologue.
blah, blah. So, I'm right.
Riley is right. So Christmas, he does go over to his nephew's.
He gave Cratchit the entire day off.
He does.
And the
And-
next day, Cratchit was late because he had so much fun on Christmas night.
He's drunk.
Yes.
And then after like the whole raise thing, where he pretended to be mad, and then like I'm giving you a raise, right? That's when he goes into.
Oh, and then
the
he breaks the
monologue.
fourth wall.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
monologue,
Yes.
where he talks about Tiny Tim.
So what
and
I'm
all.
saying is I'm a genius, and you all need to apologize.
I never disagreed with you. That's all I say.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He just gets scared straight into being happy.
Was it?
So, yeah, he becomes the second father to Tiny Tim,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the worst.
Oh yeah,
ending
Tiny
to
Tim
any
lives.
movie.
Tiny Tim lives.
Not even that. The final line of the movie is "God bless us, everyone."
What's wrong with that?
Worst in the
I don't-
whole movie.
This is not a real feeling that you have. There's no way
Yes,
that
it
you can
is.
literally be so mad at this kid.
Yes, it is.
No, he-
Explain,
no,
please.
he-
no,
no,
full. I would like
think
a
you
full
just
explanation.
you just hate Christmas and you just hate
I-
everything
No, no,
about
no,
it.
no,
I really don't like that line
It wasn't
in
a
particular.
fluid ending, right? It was kind of like they threw it in. I do agree. With
What?
that.
It was a completely full. It was a happy ending.
I know. I think it was.
It
Fun.
was it's a good ending, but I
I
feel
mean,
like that line
the ending
been-
could have been, and he became like a
No.
second father to the boy. That's it. Good ending. But instead, it's "God bless us, everyone."
Why is it so bad to say God bless us?
It's not that. It's just like the line felt kind of awkward, at least to me.
I just don't like the line.
Okay, well, I want to throw in a little thing here. We missed it when he first came back from like the whole three spirits. He started like jumping in joy, whatnot, right? Super happy. He started laughing. Did you guys catch that?
He laughed like the guy.
Like the present.
So
Oh.
stupid.
He goes, I remember that laugh, and he does it again. But no, he
No,
mocked the
I
guy.
think each like ghost is like a stage of life. Like the beginning is like the fire. It's like you're born, you're young, you have fire in your life.
Yeah, that spark.
Then you get older. It's like just the regular man, and then he dies like a regular man. He turns into a skeleton, and then the last stage of life, death. He's just death.
I agree.
Can we talk about how creepy that scene was where he's being chased by the giant
horse.
chariot?
Dude. And he got like miniaturized into a tiny little person. That I kind of thought was
his
really
voice
funny.
was his voice was funny.
Tiny voice.
But overall, it was a pretty good movie. What do you think you'd rate it, Devin?
Yeah, it was fine. I don't know. I think like there's been a couple of these, like this movie's been remade a couple of times, like the Disney one with like the Disney characters. There was the one that I remember watching, the first one. The first movie was 1978, I think. I remember watching that in like grade school. So like there's a couple different versions of these that I've watched, and
They also do it every year in
Right.
like theaters.
there's
and
like
stuff.
there's like yeah, they
theatrical
do,
performances.
and they'll probably make more as
Oh, 100%
they'll make a
forever.
remake of these, but I think this one is fine. Like it tells the story, the symbolism is good. Like it's a fine Christmas movie, so I think it's probably like 6.5. Like it's fine, it's okay.
I was thinking about a 6 for me too.
Yeah.
Like, I do like it. It's a good movie, and I did like the actors in this movie, and I thought it was all good compared to some of them. I even like. You guys ever watch Scrooged? Like it's just called Scrooge. It has Bill Murray in it.
Yeah.
I like that one too. It's like more of like adult version of this, like the story.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure he's like a manager, like the owner of this giant business, and he's kind of taking it granted for a lot of his workers and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And then I go with 6, but I also want to add a little thing. When I was looking through like the actors for this movie, who's his coworker at the end? That had
Cratchit?
Gretchen, right? Whatever. One of his sons, Peter. I guess he has a line somewhere in there, but the actor who plays him is that kid from Spy Kids. He's in this movie too.
Which kid?
The orange haired guy, like the orange haired little kid from Spy Kids, like the main character from
Isn't
Spy
it
Kids.
Jaden or
I don't remember, but he's in the movie. I just
Something
want to
like
throw it in there. I'm sorry. Riley.
So even though I don't like that one line, the rest of the movie's pretty good. But he does end up liking Christmas
Oh
in
my
the end.
God.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean it's like a 7. I've watched it just the variations of it so many times throughout life that it just has to be higher because of that. So I'd give it like a 7. This one I really like. I think that Jim Carrey is just a good actor, period. So that really bumps it up anyways. But yeah, I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I would probably rate it 8.5. I don't know. I really like this movie, and I guess I liked it a lot more when I was younger because to me the ghosts weren't as scary, but like I feel like now they're a lot
True.
more scary
Yeah.
than they were.
I don't
when they
understand
looked.
that.
I didn't. They
Maybe
did
as
not seem
kids we
that
don't
bad.
think about it as much,
Yeah.
but now we look at it and we're like, oh my
Right.
God.
But I did like the story of how like he brought him through the past and the future and whatnot.
As a parent, I would not show this movie to my child.
No.
Not till later, probably.
They would have nightmares.
Yeah, at least wait until like upper like
12.
You
Yeah.
can explain to
elementary
them,
school.
these aren't real. They're not. It's not.
But if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to let us know, go ahead and email us at silverscreenpod@gmail.com. Maybe you have a question that you'd like to hear our answers of, but pretty much go ahead and email us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.